technical. Can we get an applause, by the way, for the staff?
Can you just tap those two mics? I was lost.
There's one, and there's two.
Couldn't find the room.
Well, last time you were in this hallway, you were stumbling over.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome to. This cost me $39.
So just to show, we have a very stacked day today, panel-wise. Were any of you at the Hooves Line panel? Yeah. Sweet, thank you guys.
For those who weren't, why not?
Yeah.
I want names, numbers,
and a
reasons.
Written apology. We'll write an apology for those that did attend. So,
Sarah, did I give you my Sharpie? I think I lost it. I lost it.
Huh?
I lost it.
I have a Sharpie. Why do you need a Sharpie?
Principal.
Oh, you're the principal.
Oh, you took my Sharpie?
I'm the vice principal.
I'm gonna cancel you.
I don't, yeah. So we have this panel. We just had Hooves Line. And then after this one, we're gonna have the Semi-Perfect Podcast panel, which is, I think, in the Juke joint.
You made that up.
Which I'm like, there's going to probably be paraphernalia. The Juke joint?
Like, stop making words up.
It's the name of the room.
He's having a stroke.
Someone back me up. Yeah.
I believe it.
Now this is the How to YouTube panel, right?
Lock the door.
The last one was Hooves Line, right? Everyone shows up, they're like, I came to learn about YouTube. Why are they... So, number one on Halloween. I did that earlier. And I don't know why my brain keeps doing it. Where instead of saying how to do, I'm saying Halloween to do. How's the verb in the sentence? So welcome everybody to the How to YouTube panel. That's what you all showed up for, is that correct?
This is our new rental property. Share.
Yeah. Hello. It's cool to be back at Babscon after 3 years of no Babscon.
It feels weird. I mean, do you all feel like empowered being back? Like, this feels right. Also feels wrong. It feels right. First time? No, hey.
Any other first timers? Raise a hand.
That's pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
We love it. We love it when there's new people showing up. It's like, yay.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
You're right.
That's great.
But yeah, so this is a very interactive panel.
We want touch us. You can punch us in the face. We'll shoot pies out of our eyes.
Very interactive panel.
We're like one of those interactive lines at the Disney parks before you get to the ride. You know, the ones the kids break, you know, and you're like, well, no one can use the ride.
Yeah, you wonder how many people put their mouth on this. Right. You're not talking about the kids.
Right? You're like, what happened to the screen with like it's like the Winnie the Pooh ride, and there's a screen with like this melty honey, and you're like,
It's,
I like on this ride.
It's delightful. But yeah, we want to... We're going to be answering questions. Wow, my Winnie the Pooh went right out the door. We're going to be answering questions and whatnot, just kind of helping you all on whatever you may have.
This is one of those, interactive panels, and it's honestly, like, we're here for you. It's such an odd thing because, like, I guess as far as cred goes, like, Race and I have been doing YouTube for, like, over a decade, and we both do it in very different ways. I do professionally, which is weird to say, and with every passing year, it gets weirder, the content itself and me. No, but honest to God, the landscape of YouTube and just online, Nick. Wait, hold on. Nick, is that you? Not you? What am I thinking of? Sorry, I thought there's a friend of mine in the audience.
How many of you have walked up to the wrong person?
These goddamn masks are just throwing me off.
With the masks on, and you're like, I've done it. I did this at
Mom?
work. I did this, I did it to a coworker. I was like, and they're like,
sorry.
They're like, that's a new guy. And I'm like,
you're like, what's he doing? Where's my money? You owe me. No. Honestly, it's such an interesting thing because, like, YouTube in like the early 2010s was like, yeah, this is fun, it's a hobby and passion, and it's neat to just make videos. But now you're seeing like how the landscape has shifted to where it's like very competitive and lucrative potentially, and cutthroat, and it can also be just downright overwhelming. And you're like, okay, well, maybe I can make a video. Maybe I can make a channel. Maybe I can be like this creator who inspires me. And doing that today compared to like 5 years ago, completely different game. It has changed. I still believe, and I'll go into this later, but like 2016, YouTube changed. The internet changed. I really believe that 2015 was the last fun, like, it's Undertale and Tumblr. And then 2016 was like, like, okay. Oh no, the company's found out about the internet.
There go the speakers.
Right. I'll bankroll it.
This is our one panel in here, so we won't.
Right. We'll destroy it before anybody else.
There goes the camera's microphone.
There goes the.
No, actually, here's the funniest. You'll love this. So I was in the elevator coming down from my room, and I got an email. Can I read it to y'all? I'm gonna tell y'all this email, okay? This is from anonymous here. We'll call him Ethan. I, Ethan, would like you to shout out my channel for $10 as soon as possible.
As soon as.
Well, I don't want to leave money on the table. I think it's my folks are like, I bet you make a lot of money. And I'm like, yeah, $10.
Did Ethan even tell you what his channel is? Shout out to Ethan's YouTube channel.
I love it. I love it because he's like, Ethan. Like, Ethan, No, I love it. It's such a bizarre, like, it's so bizarre to go from like brony, hobby, you know, like, yeah, we'll make videos and have fun, burns, react, whatever.
Is Ethan in the crowd, by the way? No? Oh, all right. Ethan.
Eddie up. No, but like we're here for you. So I guess, does it make the most sense for us to just share our, like, I guess, who we are and what we do?
Yeah. So I'm ACRacebest. As far as YouTubing goes, I've, for a large part of, like you've said, the last 10 plus years, specifically with the ACRacebest channel, it's just been goofy content, a lot of different forms of content. There's been stuff from PMVs to, of course, like Bronies React to the reaction videos, and kind of all over the place, Demolition Derby videos. It's really all over the place on my channel. To add to that, as far as the way I've always approached YouTube is from more of a hobby side as opposed to like a full-time job.
Which is a good cross-section for both of us, because Race has been doing this as a hobby for a very long time. And you are very persistent. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm like, man, he's still going. Like,
hasn't died off yet.
Have you all ever seen the movie Cloverfield? The one with the giant monster in New York attacking everything, and some guy with a camera is filming the monster attack. And you're like, what idiot would film a monster? I mean, when I first saw Cloverfield, it's before I met Reyes, and I'm like, this is not believable. And then I met Reyes, I'm like, it's believable. Because like Reyes is the kind of guy where like, a kaiju will attack New York, he's like, where's my camera?
That's my secret. I'm always under attack.
Always filming, always, you have an eye for production, and that like, you're just looking for the next moment. And this is tough to do. It's not obnoxious. You are good at knowing when to film, have fun, but also to put the camera away and be in the moment. That's a strength of yours.
Yeah,
I'll cost you $10 for that compliment. My man.
My man. I'll get back to you, Ethan.
Sure.
As you mentioned, the vlogs are also a big part of it. For those that do not know, I vlog every convention I go to. And I started that from the first one that Sarah and I ever went to, my wife here in the front row. Hi, Sarah. So she's also been a large part of helping out with stuff like that, like when she's at the conventions, helping me with sometimes vlogging moments that I otherwise can't quite capture. I find that with content creation, especially like you said with vlogging, there's a lot about being aware of your surroundings, being aware of the people you're working with, having that comfort level with people, and it does go a long way. So I've always had fun doing it.
Why are y'all here? Why are y'all here in this room? How many of you are here just because you're like on board? Raise your hand. How many of you all are here because you're like, I have a channel and I want to get it moving? Okay. How many of you all have a channel that's already on the move and you're just here because like shooting the breeze? Okay. It's always, I'm gonna keep my eye on you, man. No, honestly, I only ask because like it's neat to see why folks are in the audience. Because you have people who are like, I'm ready to get to work. And then other folks who are like, it's a hobby, you know? I could use some advice, so what do you think about this? And other folks who are like, I'm in the wrong panel room. So.
But if there's anything that you do want to learn, especially if you're looking to make YouTube or take it to the next step. Again, the guy next to me, he's done it. You've done it as far as a professional career. You have a team of people on a payroll.
It's weird. I started off doing YouTube poops like back in like the late 2000s with like my boy. And yeah, with like Zelda CDI, and then the brony stuff happened, and then like it kind of, my brony content kind of fizzled out in the mid 2010s, and I was like fired from my job as a copier salesman twice. And I was like, what did I graduate from college with? Oh, that's right, political science. Hey, you'll be the president. I've got that at so many family reunions. Yeah, Stephen, what'd you study? Political science, grandma. Yeah, president. But I'm like, so how many branches are there? Government's not a tree, grandma.
President.
Read a book. I actually, like in 2015, was like working at Starbucks as a barista. And I was like, this is rock bottom for me. I was like, man, college really didn't pan out. And I got fired from 2 sales jobs, which sucked. And I was done with the pony videos. And I'm like, well, shoot. I have a dormant YouTube channel sitting around 55,000 subscribers, which is nothing to snuff at. Snuff, is that the right word?
Snuff.
Snuff, it's a snuff channel.
Nothing to snuff you out for.
Nothing to snuff at. But I was like, okay, well, I'll make some just videos about animation in general, because if folks are watching My Little Pony, they probably like cartoons. And I made a video called Why Animation is Not Just for Kids. And I went to my Starbucks job after uploading the video, and I took my break, and I looked at my channel, I'm like, whoa, this got like 25,000 views in like a few hours. I'm like, holy, oh my God, it's happening. I gotta do another one. And I just kept doing another one, and another one, and another one. And I'm sitting at 1.5 million subscribers, and making videos weekly, typically twice a week. And thank you. And and yeah, I got a team of editors, and I have a friend who helps me with research. We actually just got a home office together in my town, and we launched a gaming channel, and it's like, it's surreal to be like, wow, this hobby became a job. And there's a weird moment where my family back in like the mid 2010s are like, Stephen, you have to go back to college or try and get another sales job. And I'm like, yeah, shut up. And they saw the channel as like this weird, nerdy, like just, especially the Bernie conventions. Like, what the hell is this about? And even my extended family, like my uncles, my aunts, my cousins were like, Stephen does pony stuff. And I never like took it to heart where I'm like, oh, I'm hurt. But like just kind of dismissed it, like whatever. I've always been weird. That's who I am. Fast forward to the end of the 2010s, and my family was like, whoa, how'd you do that? Like, because they realized the internet's actually like a viable business. Like, you can actually launch a channel and be like, wow, college was worthless. Like, I guess YouTube or TikTok or Twitch or whatever, that's enough. And that was, I don't know, I don't say this out of a sense of like, I need validation from them, but it was an interesting process where organically they went from goofing on me. And then 5 years later, at a reunion, they were like swarming me for advice and praising me, which was weird. I was like, ugh. I'm the same old nerd from last 5 years ago. But but yeah, I guess at this point we're here for you for questions. Let me go on for 10 more minutes. But yeah, right now we're opening the questions to y'all.
Yeah. So what we'll do, a raise of hands, just to get an idea of our initial set of questions. We don't want to leave anyone hanging throughout this panel. So, but I also don't want anyone to have to sit here like this the entire time. So to start off, I saw your hand go up. Anyone else that will have a question? So we got a couple here. So I'll start 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll ask again.
Dude, I have not seen the horse news scarf in like 17 years. It's been a moment. Is horse news doing all right? Oh. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. It's been too many years. My mind's slipping. All right, first question. Yes.
Hey, so I'm just curious, when you're at Starbucks and you got a 25,000 people view on your video, how did you get from how did you reach like a professional level where you could decide to do that? And I'm also just curious, if you're spending so much time on your hobby, like how does that support you?
So it's tough because I see so many folks who email me, message me, who are like, it's not working. I'm trying to make a channel, it's failing. I'm the failure. I'm like, no, please. Like, be patient and kind to yourself. Like, never before has there been this much competition. It is everywhere. Because I swear, like 2 or 3 years ago, everybody clicked over and they were like, oh shoot, this is where it's at online. your metrics of TikTok and Twitter. And I thank God that I got out of high school before the internet really blew up. I couldn't imagine going through high school right now and having your popularity measured by your follower count. I digress. So for me, it was organic, it was a hobby, because the pony stuff, hobby, making Bernie videos with this guy. And then I pivot to just broad animation. And it was one of those moments where I'm like, wow, this is really growing. I'll keep doing what works, give the people what they want. And it was an interesting balancing act of like going to Starbucks, because I was, health insurance, just a little bit, and helping to pay rent and whatever. But during my time off, I'd go home and work on my videos. And it was interesting, so I'm like, okay, something's working here. I'll just keep at it. Just do what works. That's a thing. YouTube loves it. And they'll tell you now, like when you look at this YouTube studio, it's very upfront where it's like, what worked for this video? Do this again. Which is tough, because a lot of channels who find success will repeat it ad nauseum to the point where it becomes a one-trick pony, and then they're put in a corner. Okay, I will answer your question. I have a friend named Black Griffin, okay? This guy was a meteoric rise to success. He went from having 70,000 subscribers from pony stuff, which he was popular in the fandom, to 4 million subscribers, to where he had a video that made had over 150 million views on YouTube Rewind. He was one of the top 10 most viewed videos in the world. His channel is currently dead. And he'll even talk to me being like, what do I do? Because he put himself in the corner with his impression videos. And he was like, dude, this guy had insane success, but it put him in a corner. And then he's like, what now? So it's tough. That's what I'm trying to say. It's tough. There's so many folks who are just so hard on themselves, and it's so hard to do it organically. So for me, I can't overstate how lucky I am. It's a combo of being lucky and also knowing when to strike when the iron's hot, and then also try to change it just a little. It's YouTube's demanding a lot from you in order to succeed. But for me, I saw what worked, I kept doing it over and over and over, but also changing it a bit along the way. And there was a certain moment where I'm like, okay, because by the way, it is not making as much as you think it is. 100,000 subscribers, oh my God, you must be making millions. No. I was making more at Starbucks with my minimum wage job than YouTube with over 100,000 subscribers. It is tough. There's a threshold point where you finally break through it and then it goes off the chart. Not for everybody. That's another thing too. You have to also understand that YouTube's a platform, not just one particular type of content or delivery of content. Because you got people who are insane animators who pour their time and passion and talent and essence and resources and put out one video per year. Oh, I did okay, 10,000 views. Oh, great, cool. And then you get somebody who makes reaction videos. Not you in particular, but folks who are okay, I'm a personality and I can feel videos every single day, and it's YouTube is a numbers game, so it rewards output and quantity more than quality, because to them a view's a view. So for me, it got to the point where I finally realized, okay, I think I can do this full time, and it was such a cringe moment where I was walking my dog and I looked up the sky and I'm like, I'm gonna die someday. I might as well try this before I do, And I never looked back. I can't say it again. I got lucky. I'm still getting lucky. I made a video that took me 10 minutes to make, and I passed it off to an editor, and it broke 600,000 views this past week. And I'm like, I feel dirty. I don't deserve this. Because I try to stay humble in all of this. Because that's another thing, is you have folks who don't stay grounded, and then they lose themselves in the cloud and stuff. I'm sorry, I am just ranting at this point. But I think about this stuff constantly, and because I'm a big sucker when it comes to the human experience. When it comes to how do we as humans manifest our existence, our art, our creation, the meaning of life, and my God, it's the internet. And oh God, why did we pick the internet? And I'm trying my best to preach the patience and kindness to people who try this stuff, because it is hard. It is harder to get to 1,000 subscribers than for me to get to 10 million. That's the truth. I mean that. Every one of you in the audience who have no subscribers or whatever, and you want to get to 1,000, is much harder for you all than for me to get to 10 million. I want you all to know that. It's hard. Be kind to yourself.
Yeah. Getting things off the ground. That's always, because
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's insanely hard.
Yeah. To answer on the hobby side.
Did I answer your question? I'm sorry.
By now you should have.
Good answer.
As far as the hobby and how does it support? So for me, I started my channel when I was still in college. So for me, going to school for engineering, I didn't necessarily have, I could have made time. There's a lot of people that will work a second job. A lot of my work comes on the weekends. I work at racetracks. So I was doing that, but after getting out of college, then eventually started a full-time job. So I'm actually a Monday through Friday engineer, mechanical engineer. And then, there's the work, there's the family, and then comes the hobby of YouTube. And sometimes it's hard to fit in, especially like Bronies React always requires the most amount of editing for the stuff that I do. Because I'm working with, 10s, 20s hours of footage amongst a bunch of people, going through a lot of footage, editing it all down. And it does take up a lot of time, but it balances out because I do have the Monday through Friday. It also gives me a little bit more freedom than, say, like with your channel, you have freedoms with it. But like for me, if I feel like I'm going to upload a dog running in a circle, and then tomorrow I'm going to be like, I'm going to post a video about Zootopia.
Same thing.
He's right. Like with the channel, there's not really necessarily support from that. Like there is money that is made there, but it's far from anything that I could like live off of, especially living in Southern California. So that's why it's nice for me to kind of have that, the job that's there and still be able to enjoy it. Like I do the YouTube videos like because I love to do them. They're fun.
You like to stay active.
Yeah.
It almost seems like YouTube was a perfect platform for that. You like to stay active, and you like cameras, and you like to put things together.
Yeah, I started doing it at a young age, so then when the pony stuff kicked off, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to get involved with this. We see what happens. So,
Did we answer the question sufficiently? Thank you for your question.
Great. So we had you.
Yes.
I guess, how hard can branching out be? Because like I'm someone who basically like did something in the past, and I think that's what most of my subscriber base comes from. Like it was basically Gmod stuff that's like a mix of ponies and TF2. And but I kind of usually remember. I think it would be mostly remembered for like that one particular thing. Like how hard can branching out be if you want to try other things?
Have you tried branching out already?
Yeah.
How's it going?
The videos don't seem to get us anywhere. What they usually get.
What are you branching out to?
Like Smash Brothers stuff, and also I even did like a Smash Brothers related video essay.
Oh yeah. So it's tough because there are people who have a channel that becomes stagnant, and you're like, okay, where do I go now? Nothing's working. I'm plateauing, and you have to ask yourself, what do you want? Viewership, more subscribers, just metrics go up across the board. Okay, what kind of circle of people are you working with? Because there are people who, like the YouTube poop stuff, that's pretty niche, versus like Roblox or Minecraft or Fortnite, that's massive. And I guess you have to kind of take it in like that, where it helps you to at least set your expectations. Like Gmod's cool and has a broad appeal. So you have to look at the folks who are succeeding. Yes.
I can still do a bit of Gmod here or there. I can still try to do other things on the side too.
Gotcha. No, and so it does come down to like, okay, execution. I guess trends help a lot. That's something where folks are like, what do I do? And I'm like, it sucks, but chase trends. Trends are springboards, okay? Okay, you launched a review channel. Okay, what do you review? Review what's trendy. Review what's trendy, and because that will be in the algorithm.
I would also add that if you're intending on still, like, do you still enjoy making the other stuff?
Yeah, this type of motivation is kind of a pain in that because I'm also still done with college.
Oh,
Right.
Poor thing.
Yeah, so I was gonna say what I feel like helps channels that are trying to do what you're doing, where you're like, well, I want to make this other content because probably you have interest in, well, this is a fire that I wanna grab onto.
I think that there's a
Yeah, so
That's important.
I would say the best way, I think sometimes like when people are following a channel, the viewers might be like, well, this is why I liked your channel, now you're making other stuff. If you start making some of the other stuff, but then you still have the videos that the initial audience showed up for, I think that also, it's kind of like, you know, it sounds backwards, but I was gonna say, you don't want to take a Band-Aid off slow. Putting them down softly. No, that sounds bad too. But the viewers will still see, like your original viewers will still see, hey, you're still giving me the content that I initially came here for. And eventually they might also start to warm up to the other stuff. I think what happens with other channels that branch out are the ones that just go cold turkey and like say they're like, I'm an animation channel, and then all of a sudden like next thing they're an unboxing channel out of nowhere. I'm not saying I've seen this, but like as an example of just a complete like
It's a 180 and it's jarring for your audience. Audiences can be very fickle, and you don't, they scare easily. Cause like, okay, let's say there's a channel you like. What's something you like?
Let's see, Cheddar Conroy or Vine Sauce, one of those guys.
Vine sauce, okay. What if all of a sudden they start uploading videos where they're just a bunch of woodworkers making chairs and that's it?
nice.
Okay, it's cool for the creator who likes that stuff, but that's not what you subscribe for. One of the greatest prizes when it comes to content creating is getting your audience hooked on the creator, not the content, the creator. That's hard to do because they subscribe typically because of the content. Markiplier can make whatever the hell he wants because folks are there for Markiplier. Folks are there for Game Grumps, you know? That's like the open waters they got to. But while other folks don't really enjoy that luxury. You have to work your way up to it. Because like for me, I do animation stuff. If I start reviewing like Mad Max Fury Road or Dune or Lord of the Rings, folks are like, I imagine a seventh of my audience, maybe even less, would actually watch. Because when they think, what about Saberspark? What is he? He's funny, cartoon dumb guy, whatever, you know. That's what they're watching it for. And I understand that. I understand why they're here. You know, if I ever want to shift it, I have to do it very passively. Okay, I hate this example, but it's the truth. It's an entire like stupid thing with like putting the frog in a pot of water. Where you can't just boil it and then just drop it. It's gonna freak out. But you can put it in a pot of water, then turn it up slowly, and it won't notice.
All of our positive
audiences
analogies
are like frogs,
are
burning to
either
death.
pain or death.
Right.
But yeah, no, I would say if it's what you want to do with your channel, do it. And like I said, I think it'll help your viewers if it is a matter of you still uploading the original kind of stuff that you do, assuming that's what you want to continue also doing, and also, you know, do what you want.
Is this for job like prospects or just hobby?
Kind of a hobby.
Okay.
But also, I kind of also went later, like, maybe manage videos for hire.
A bit of that latitude in that direction. Okay. I mean, I'd say.
I'm sorry. I just love how subtle you're trying to be with that gigantic pony in the back. He's just like walking around
You're
like
holding
a
it
guy
like
who just
it's,
stole the bank.
like a bazooka over your shoulder.
Nice try.
I stole the Declaration of Independence.
You ready for the new Rescue Ranger movie?
Oh, I'm so ready, man.
One of my Acorn Cafe brethren.
Yeah, that's a cult he's a part of.
Yeah, yes, it is. Hopefully that answered your question, though. Good luck with it. Have fun with it.
Keep at it.
And then number 3. Yes.
So it's kind of bouncing off that idea of like that personality thing. Like, how do you go from like, oh, look at me to it's like I have this brand of like who I am, and like how do you break that? Like, how do you create separation between like I'm a three-dimensional person? This is like the personality people are coming.
So as far as, do you mean like for example, like at conventions for us, like how do we do it, or do you mean like in what maybe I misunderstood the question.
He misunderstood the question.
Did you understand it?
Here's it one more time. Just sorry.
How do you go from being a known person to being like an internet personality? Like, how do you craft your brand and your...
Oh,
It depends on the content, depends on your audience, depends on you. Sometimes it's, I mean, there are moments where something happens with your content that wasn't planned and folks just click with it. Like, I went from making pony videos to video essays about animation to doing these off-the-cuff reviews about bad animation. And folks are like, Saberspark does bad animation reviews. I love it. And I'm like, you like that? okay. So sometimes you just stumble into success and what works, and you're like, it pays for you as a creator to like keep your like ear to the ground and be like, what works? What do they like that time? Because you might find success. And that is a truth for YouTube, is when you find success, like, you know, strike while the iron is hot. YouTube definitely will throw you a bone occasionally if you like make something where it's like, wow, audiences love that. Like the algorithm ate it up. Okay, what did you do right? Okay, here's an example. We have a friend who was actually a convention chair back in the day. His name's Pickle Brony. And he decided to do a YouTube channel just to make whatever he wanted, like comedy, sketch comedy, reviews. And that terrible Pinocchio movie came out. And Father, oh my God, the world be my own. You know what I'm talking about? Probably don't. The world to see. It was a terrible voice acting for this Pinocchio movie that looked awful. And Pickle Brony here did a video about it where he just talked about the trailer being awful. And here's the brilliant thing, is the trailer itself, because of YouTube and its weird restrictions, the trailer itself had no comments. The trailer was going viral. And his channel had a video talking about this movie that had comments turned on. So all the folks who went to the trailer were like denied to post comments because kid content, you can't post comments. His video wasn't kid content. So all the folks went to his channel, his video broke 1 million views. That's a good example of the YouTube algorithm throwing you a bone. And now he actually hit me up. He was like, what do I do next? I'm like, you do what works. You repeat previous success, at least for now. Because that's a tough thing. YouTube will give you a moment saying, you did something right, do it again. And you might go, that's not what I want. YouTube's like, that's cool. We don't care what you want. We want what we want, and we want what worked, because it worked for some reason. Figure out why it worked and do it again. And that's the tough part. That's when you're like, okay, I don't want to like be not me, but I also don't want to like ignore the success. So it becomes a balancing act of like, okay, how can I incorporate myself into this? How can I also be prudent with this like blessing and run with it while also not being a sellout to it? It's tough, but I guess it's tough because like it's never as simple as like, there's only one way of how it works. It's like you have to find it on your own, because audiences are subjective. You're subjective. You have to see what works and test it out.
So going on the personality side too, because I think this is one thing that, so like with Saber with his video essays, you know, like you get a lot more on the audio side versus say like with the vlogs where it's us hanging out or it's me doing a goofy sketch or whatnot. I think it tends to surprise people a little bit more when they actually, like for me, for example, when they meet me and they go, oh wait, so this is how you actually are. Unfortunately. And then everyone apologizes to Sarah. They're like, I'm so sorry. How? But like, because for me, it's not necessarily a personality that I put out there. It's me. So it's a lot easier to balance per se. And yeah, I always try to present myself like I think that's one of the funny things about when we first started the Bronies React series even, is that it gave people a lot of content creators. It was the first time people were seeing their faces. And up till that point, people weren't even like recognizing some of the people at conventions. And so you'd have these like really talented folks with their content, and someone would walk up and be like, hey, you're the guy on Bronies React. And they're like, unfortunately. Yes. But that's part of why I always loved putting the series together. It was fun to be able to show off personalities that we otherwise haven't gotten to get to know. And but yeah, like that's it for me. If anything, like say like when I'm at work, if anything, that's where I'm like, well, I may subdue the personality here and just go to work, you know.
You'll put a camera in your boss's face.
Hey, not yet. You know, versus like, you know, if I'm on the vlogs or I'm walking around conventions, like this is just me. I thrive in these type of environments. I love it. And
he's the most extroverted person I've ever met. You feed off of it.
I love you guys. Thanks for coming to our panel, guys.
We love you too.
Oh, thank you. Hopefully that answered your question. All right, so I know we had your question, then we'll get to the next set of hands.
Question 2. Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, I just want to start off with a comment. It's really interesting to hear the different perspective from both professional and a like more hobby side of things. So it's just really interesting to see that. My question is, I'm new to the YouTube stuff. I think I started my channel about 3 months ago, and I'm happy to say I posted my first video about 3 weeks ago.
Congrats.
Yeah. Nice.
So far the reach is okay. It's sitting at about 500-600 views, and I got like some good comments. But the part where I'm starting to struggle is when I looked into the analytics, which I've learned is like something I want to pay attention to. I see the engagement being really low. And for the record, I do more of the longer videos. That's more on the evergreen side. And the problem I'm having is that by the time the video hits the 30-second mark, very few people are watching the videos. So basically, my question is, from your experiences, how are you able to find that spark to keep people engaged? Because I've been told that your engagement.
So to start off, I was just going to say, I don't think there is a single video out there that doesn't do that with the viewership. But that's a good question as far as how do you keep your viewer engaged in the video?
What kind of content do you make?
So I make longer videos, like more than 10 minutes, and it's mostly stuff on psychology, philosophy.
That's cool.
Development, things
Nice.
like that. And the twist is that I try to add a little League of Legends stuff.
That's cool though.
I try to figure it out, but the thing is, again, the problem I'm having is that it's just boom.
Right, but it's different, and that's a good start. Like,
Yeah, like the different thing is nice because it gets you, folks notice. There's a channel that I stumbled across that did like reviews, and it was a guy who had like a mask, like a blank mask over his head, and he like was just moving his body around, but he animated his face over the mask. I'm like, that's cool. That's really neat. That's different. And sometimes something different is enough to get folks to like engage with you. And because I mean, that's a tough thing is you have to acknowledge that you're getting here late in the game, relatively. So it's like, okay, competition. Because for me, like I see folks who do what I do, who have like 1/10 of my audience. And I'm like, dang, they're working hard and they're smart and they're talented. And the only reason, if I was in their shoes today, competing against myself from like 5 years ago, I'd be struggling. Like that's a tough thing. There's a lot of folks who arrive at the scene when they weren't there at the start, and now they're like, well, shoot, I have to be innovative now. What can I do different? What hasn't been done, or do better, or both? So for you, first off, like he said, the engagement slope forever. You'll never shake that. That's how people are. I mean, my videos are the same way, where it's the first. There's a reason why sponsors are like, please put our spot in the first 2 minutes of your video, because precisely. And it makes sense because it's metrics. So don't be hard on yourself for that. But if you're doing longer form content, like you can typically keep a larger portion of your audience if they're engaged with the topic, which is why it's important early on is to like say your thesis or what the video's about and give them a reason to stick around. What are you talking about? Why should they stay? Give them a reason. And I think it's cool because you said what you do, it's pretty niche, but like being niche can also work to your advantage, where it gives you like a circle, where it's like, yeah, I'm part of this community or this fandom or this discussion. Like, I'm part of the math fandom. I'm part of the nerd. No, there are certain groups that I feel like, okay, for example, did y'all watch Our Place recently with the big old Reddit war with like the board and okay. First off, props to bronies. Like, my God. my God. So I'm going somewhere with this. So for those who don't know, /RPlace was a subreddit experiment. It happened once before in 2017. It happened again recently, a few weeks ago. And it's basically this giant board, XY, I believe. Help me, math nerd. It was an XY, whatever. And it's little dots. You can put down 1 pixel. And I think it refreshes every 10 minutes. But you can coordinate with a group of people with all your pixels to make an image. So all these bronies are like, we're making Rainbow Dash And that, you see all these bronies put in little pixels, but you have folks who would try to like overwhelm that spot by putting their own pixels down to make their own image. So it became this giant war of folks who are like, hey, look, it's France and it's flag, or Germany or whatever, or it's a Twitch streamer who is streaming and they're coordinating all their folks. Every single time people would go after Rainbow Dash, it'd pop right back up. I'm like, bro, listen, a Twitch streamer will turn off their Twitch stream. A brony they've been doing this for 10 years. So I'm going somewhere with this. That's a fandom. That's like an actual group of people who consistently praise about this, the show, the whatever, like they're here for it. Look at us, we're here at a brony convention 10 years after the show, 3 years after the show ended, and we're still having fun. So like sometimes you can find a circle or a fandom or whatever and be content with it, where you're like, I got my people, it's sustainable. That's the thing. I think far too often we think it has to be this constant rise of viewership. It has to keep going and going and going. No, I say abolish that. Find sustainability. That's so much better. Like there are people who are on Twitch who have like 500 consistent viewers. That's amazing. Like you have 500 people supporting you. Mm-hmm. That's enough. Or you have a channel and you bring in like 50,000 viewers consistently. That's awesome. Like, my God, that's amazing. And also like people who have like tens of millions of views. To a certain point where it becomes a curse, where folks start looking at you and wait for you to screw up. Or they might be stalkers or whatever. I don't know. There's a certain level where I'm like, I would never want that. If someone's like, hey, Saberspark, would you ever want to trade places with Mr. Beast and have his levels of subscribers? I'd be like, no, absolutely not. That's too much. That's terrifying. I don't want that.
And in regards to the first 30 seconds, could you just say your advice?
Yes, my advice is say what you got to say to get folks to stick around. What's your video about? Is it a thesis? Is there a reason to make them stick? Because you're doing longer form content and you're there to tell a video essay thesis or whatever. Make it get it out quickly. Like, this is the problem. This is what I want to talk about. Okay, you said philosophy or whatever. You said, okay, bring it up quickly. Here's the predicament. Here's what we're going to discuss about. Stick around to watch.
Yeah, present a question, and then throughout we're going to answer that question.
I always ask myself at the start of my videos, why should people care? If I don't care, then I'm already shut up. Then I'm failing.
So, I was also going to say, because
that's why, honest to God,
I saw you taking notes. Just so you know,
that's what it costs you money.
I was also going to mention that this panel's. I'll upload this panel on the ACRacebest channel. Subscribe. ACRacebest. So in case you ever want to look back. So we have 15 minutes, and as I said, I want to get to the next set.
Already?
Yeah, you talk a lot. So what I want to do is I want to get everybody who has a question to raise their hands. I'm going to give everyone a number, and then I'll A, know how many questions we have left, and B, I'll just say, okay, next. Not that you're just a number, all right, but all right. So raise a hand, who still has questions.
Oh my gosh.
Don't be shy. All right, 1. Okay, so you're 1. You got that in your head. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Y'all sit until I
7,
made a mistake.
8, 9.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Is that all right? All right.
Good.
All right, so this is less of a question, but something that I relate to. So you said you uploaded a video that got like 600,000 views, right? You didn't put a lot of effort into it. I make gaming videos, not a very original concept. I get around 50 views a video, which is fine. I put in hours of effort of work into editing. I recently made a video where it was me literally clicking on a mouse. It got 25,000 views.
You've done it. Yeah. Why don't we replace the? Can you get up here? You can take our spots. All right.
You should be teaching us. What's your question?
I didn't have a question. I just wanted to.
He's bragging. That's what he's doing.
That goes to show you how this current landscape is so bizarre, where the folks are.
It messed with me. I was like, I didn't put it. It was shot on my iPhone. It was 30 seconds.
That's the internet.
Of me clicking on a mouse.
It's because it's weird. Folks are, what the hell is this? It's weird. Click on it.
And then I made another video a few weeks ago where it was me and I was just hitting my keyboard and it got 1,000 views.
Clearly,
keep doing what you're doing.
Clearly, you're onto something. Take some eggs and smash your keyboard against it. 3 million views.
Well, thank you for sharing. Okay, and then number 2.
On a related note,
Yes.
YouTube Shorts, the new issue.
Oh, yes.
What do you think?
Okay.
How do you see this changing the landscape?
YouTube Shorts. So I've heard a bit about this. I know that YouTube's trying to push this. Personally, I'm not sold on it as a content creator.
It's stupid, that's why.
I'm not sold on it. On the other hand, I do know of creators that have been utilizing this, and it's been working for some. It's just not, I'm like, okay, like to me, it's just a short-term YouTube. In my opinion, it feels like where YouTube's like, oh, we're gonna try and hit on the
fact
vine.
that these videos on YouTube Shorts or TikTok re-uploads should tell you everything you need to know. And also, YouTube dumped $250 million as an incentive program to try and compete with TikTok. TikTok was the highest growing traffic websites of the year last year. It's huge. It's still going crazy. YouTube trying to fight that. Be like TikTok. They're failing because they're trying to just copy it without adding anything to it. Why does TikTok succeed and YouTube does not succeed when it comes to these videos? It's because YouTube's YouTube. It's not TikTok. So I say to you, don't form a career around it. This is gonna be a flash in the pan the same way like Google+. So that's my advice.
I was incorrect. It was 36,000.
Now you're just bragging.
Yeah, okay. All right, we get it.
We get it. You're God.
So hopefully that answered your question. Okay, cool. Number 3. Yes.
I have a question. My question is, there's I want to do YouTube for making my different OC from different vendors to come together in a similar Who's right, but the character I want my OC to come to real life to get along to each other and something like that. But my problem is I want to know if there's any a website for any background music in case I don't get copyrighted.
Public domain. Typing public domain. Do test uploads with said music, and if it doesn't get hit, you're good.
Yeah. There are websites specifically for that.
Royalty-free public domain.
That's the word to hold. Royalty-free.
Which isn't a guarantee, because a lot of folks say royalty-free, and I've used it before, and I'm like, it ain't royalty-free after all.
The other thing with music these days with YouTube, and it's best to go that route for sure, as far as using royalty-free music, but it feels less dangerous these days. Like there was a time where YouTube was like, oh, you have something copyrighted, the video would be taken down or completely muted. Yeah, it was destroyed. Luckily nowadays there's a lot more companies that are like, oh, this gives us more, we can earn money off of this. But yeah, royalty-free music, that's where you go. And there's a lot of it out there for you. Number 4, yes.
Yeah, so YouTube algorithm can change out from under you. Like there was the apocalypse a couple years back. How do you adapt to that?
Depends on your content. Try to be original as possible, because YouTube punishes derivative, they reward transformative. And the more original you are, the less likely copyright will come after you. So nothing's guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed. Something can horribly wrong happen tomorrow that just completely obliterates a faction of YouTube. Apocalypse was them coming to a reckoning because they got caught doing something really stupid where the algorithm would randomly assign ads to videos, and Coke got an ad attached to a very racist song, and Coke found out and they flipped their lid. They're like, what the hell are you doing, YouTube? And that was the first wave of the apocalypse, which from apparently they fixed. But I already expect there'd be more hardships in the future. But the more original you are, the more prepared you are to avoid copyright nonsense or other BS. Which is tough, but still.
Yep.
Who's next?
Good luck.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I already have an idea of what kind of personality that I have. My question is kind of bounces off his, because I know YouTube is so sensitive to you using certain words or just swear words in general or talk about topics they don't like. Are there other platforms you would recommend that I kind of use also? And YouTube is like a trafficking, here I am, but if you want to hear my uncensored kind of version of where I go, just use this one.
Audiences are lazy typically when they're on a platform. They don't want to leave it. So you can be like, go to this. And they're like, I'm on YouTube. I'm not gonna click a button. So that's a true.
Autoplay on.
Also, YouTube and TikTok and a lot of other websites, yeah, they're constantly monitoring you, which is creepy. If you don't use bad words, F word like frick, Honest to God.
I'm sorry. I am sorry.
I'm sorry. No, honestly though, it sucks because I'm all about freedom of speech. And I believe that there's more to it than just a bunch of buzzwords. And it's a shame because there are things where it's like nudity or bad language or just discussion of topics. It should be allowed. But YouTube doesn't like when you rock the boat. They don't like confrontation. They don't like liabilities. And it's their platform as a private company. It's going to do what the hell they want. Or was it hell? I'm sorry. No, but honestly, try to keep it docile. Try to keep it, it's PG. And you'll notice that like your channel will get more traction. Like there's a channel recently that said we stopped using bad words, and the views did much better. It's like it's creepy how much the algorithm can detect. It's terrifying. But as far as directing your traffic, I mean that could work for the contingent of viewers who are like, I like you for you, and I'm willing to go another step to find you and support you, which happens. But most viewers are just like, I'm good. They won't care. Which is fine, it's expected. I mean, I can do the same thing where I'm like, I launched a new channel, go check it out. And they're like, nah, no, we don't care. So.
And the problem is too, at least right now, is that other platforms have their own forms of like, oh no, you can't post that here. It's like, depending on what it is, I guess it's good luck.
I wouldn't build it's weird because TikTok is like explosive with growth. But right now, it's not as lucrative financially, where most of these TikTokers who do great find third-party sponsorships, where a sponsor's like, here, talk about Manscaped or something, I don't know. And you're like, cool, because you take TikTok out of the equation, which TikTok hates. YouTube hates it too. They're like, that's our money. But, which isn't true. But like, I don't know. It's insane. All these platforms are constantly monitoring you, like to a scary degree. They're watching you. They're like, is he rocking the boat or not?
There's a
what a fun job, right?
They say in every YouTube panel, there's at least one YouTube representative there. So one of you.
It's the Lion King guy.
Oh yeah, trying to blend in.
Nice try, YouTube. You see right through your facade.
I always know I'm at Babscon when we have the Lion King guy. Like it's like, yes, I'm in the right spot right now. Good to see you, Lion King guy.
Lion King guy's like, who's the Lion King guy?
Who's he pointing at?
Yeah.
Good.
All right, next question.
So who is so was that number 5? Are we on to number 6 now?
Are we on the right side of the room here?
Yes.
I was 7. You're 7? Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. With regards to the streams and the view videos, there's the live chat feature. How do you pick moderation? How does moderation work on YouTube?
Oh, as far as people that are moderating those chats, yeah, I feel like.
Wait, mods on YouTube live streams? I'm sorry, I might have missed this question. I'm a little bit confused.
Yeah, on streams.
So basically, how do you set that up? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Do you?
Do you pick people at all?
Yes. Sarah, can you come here?
Sarah!
Sarah, talking to the mic.
Sarah Jans.
Sarah produces our podcast.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is how it works. Basically, when someone is active in a chat, you can right-click their name, and there will be a few options that pop up, like one's like to ban, kick, or, and then there's one for moderation. So you can just choose to moderate them if they're a person that you trust. I would recommend, trying to pick someone who is either a close friend who knows you, or at least someone who is very active on your streams already and that you feel that you can trust with that moderation power.
Yeah. And it is, yeah, thank you, Sarah. It is a good recommendation if you start getting enough people in your chats to have someone moderating, because it's no fun to be doing that while you're also trying to run.
That.
Yeah.
You don't want that. You want to also find mods who don't have like power problems. Yeah. Some mods are like, I'm literally a totalitarian government. And it's like, dude, you're moderating a Minecraft chat. Just calm down. Same thing. All right, who's next?
Number 7.
It's kind of funny, actually, number 5, sort of asked my question, but just, I guess for you personally, one day YouTube decides that they hate you and want to shoot your channel in the face. And do so. What do you do?
I shoot myself in the face.
I shoot him in the face.
That's the thing. There's no safety net.
There's like other alternative settings like Nebula or curiosity stream for people to do that kind of content?
It's not nearly enough.
But
It's not.
It's not the same. It's smaller. Is there something for you to go? Can you make your?
I mean, the channel will eventually die out. So I'm preparing myself for that. And well, YouTube's, they've dumped so much money into YouTube, Google has, for the last 10 years, that it was only like about 3 years ago where they finally started to turn a profit, because they saw it as an investment, and it's paying off. So, I mean, my advice is just like, know that there will be eventually a decline with your content and also yourself, where you're just like, I'm tired, or I've done enough, or whatever, and have a plan B, you know, whether it be, you know, you pivot to another type of content or another website, or even if it's savings to retire. Lol, millennials are retiring. But honestly though, like foresight's required to know that there'll be eventually a decline in conclusion, and to put your faith in another website where it's like it's easy as moving from my content from YouTube and uploading it on TikTok or whatever. It's like, no, it's not, because you need to have that rapport built there. So maybe preemptively launch another channel with another website before your channel starts to decline, and build something there. That way you have another poker in the fire. I shouldn't touch fire.
Do what?
I poke fire.
You poke fire? All right. Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't happen though. That's bad. All right.
My grandfather says the same thing. He's like, Stevie, when YouTube dies, I'm like, shut up, Grandpa.
Now I believe, so that was number 7. So we have 8 and 9 left. Cool. All right. We will get through these last 2 questions.
All right. What's a video that you really enjoyed making or were really proud of that got, or even a genre video that you liked that either got copyright claimed or got demonetized due to risque content or something, or even just had low engagement?
Oh gosh.
Video type that you loved making, but was not lucrative?
Well, I guess a very quick answer for me is, so I have a lot of videos on my channel because I approach it as the hobby side. A lot of my videos are demonetized because I'm just like, whatever, I'll use this music because I want to. It will get hit with copyright. They'll inform me that, hey, now they're making your money as opposed to you making your money. And it's like, that's okay because I'm not relying on that money. I was gonna say the Bronies Rex, with the Hasbro content that's in there, like, they don't make money. People see ads on them, and Hasbro's like, yes, you do. So yeah, I mean, Bronies React is definitely a pride and joy project of mine, and it's one that. But as far as one that got like completely obliterated, luckily that hasn't happened in a long time with any of my content on my channel. But I also have a racing channel that I had stuff that. I put all this time into basically music videos with the racing stuff, and then back then when they got it stinks because the audio used to get completely deleted, and then they would give you the option to replace the music. If you left the audio untouched, you said that's fine. If it's muted, a few years later the audio would have come back. But if you replaced the audio never came back, and I cry.
I had a review for a movie called Lunar, the Barbarian, which was like some Scandinavian adult animated film. I loved it. I made a review, did really well. Even the directors hit me up because it was like an obscure adult animated film, and they're like, hey, like, thank you. Like, this is really cool. You reviewed it, and we appreciate you giving it more traffic. And I'm like, yeah, it was sweet, awesome, thank you. I appreciate you. The folks who own the actual company that employ these directors gave me 2 copyright strikes out of the blue. And I was like, oh, cool. Because 3 copyright strikes and your channel's dead. And I was like, great, sweet, dude, I can't wait. I emailed them, I'm like, hey, so like your directors like thanked me and I gave you all traffic, and this is also a fair use video, so like what's going on? And it took them a week, and they got back to me, and it was some lady from the company who owns it, and she was like, yeah, we decided to give you this, sorry. And I'm like, cool, can we remove the strikes? Can I remove the videos? Like, what can I do to like mitigate this? And they're like, nothing. I'm like, so you're telling me if I get one more strike, I'm dead? And they're like, that's your problem. I'm like,
Yeah.
and I reached out to the directors and I was like, can you talk to them, please? And they're like, oh, shoot. Like, yeah, we'll talk to them. Never did. And the thing is that 60 days later, the strikes expired. So I was in the clear again. I took the video down, never addressed it ever again. Because I'm like, I'm not talking about this. Like, I gave you all traffic. I did a review that was fair use. I love this film too. I recommended it. And it's on YouTube for free, by the way. And I'm like, what's your issue? And some companies, a lot of business people don't get it. They don't get YouTube, and they just see it as an infringement on their content versus like, I'm promoting it, idiot.
Monster Jam.
Right. Yeah, Monster Jam. So
they went after our racing channel. They gave us 12 strikes. 12? Yeah. Yeah.
How'd you not die?
We got in contact with them and we said, what can we do to get rid of these? And they said, take down every monster truck video. We only had 300 of them, 400 of them. We had to eliminate everything in 24 hours. It is, if you get a copyright strike, or like the 3, if it's the same group, you have like a chance. They'll
the window.
Yeah, there's an email that's usually associated with them. Get in contact with them and just be like, what can I do to save my channel? I'll get rid of it, I promise.
YouTube's like, here's their actual email. This is no longer our problem. YouTube, when copyright strikes happen, it's not YouTube. It's YouTube listening to a company saying, do the thing because we're gonna sue or whatever. And the entire fair use thing for like YouTube or whatever, I've discovered years ago that it's not YouTube getting involved. They wash their hands of it. They're like, we're done. Like, you can go take this to court between you and the IP owner, but we're done. Good luck.
Yeah.
Because that's their approach. Hands off. So, you know, you'd hope that fair use would work, and that it would be applicable on the website, but they're like, we don't care.
We wish you did. Last question.
Okay, so I want to make multiple different kind of videos that are all somewhat similar. Would it make more sense and be better if I have 2 channels depending on the themes of the multiple videos I want to make, or if I just have it on one channel and have multiple playlists?
How close are the two? Like, what are the two?
Yeah. What's the content?
Well, they're all, the only way that they're somewhat similar is because they're animations. Like story times, AMVs, I also want to do PMVs and animated Vs. Some are pony, some are not pony. So like, I don't know if I can
I'd probably do one channel, but maybe you have a different opinion. Like, for example, I have the ACRacebest channel for like a lot of pony related stuff, cartoon related stuff. Sarah and I have a gaming channel called Ready Player Dumb. I wasn't gonna start just throwing gaming content on the ACRacebest channel. Like, it was like, oh, we're gonna create a secondary channel because it was so different and there was so much other content. For that, if it's close enough, my opinion would be, it'd probably be fine to have one channel.
Right, I agree. If it's like animation to backbone, keep it on one channel because YouTube rewards consistent uploading. And also when you're new to it, the more uploads you do, increases the odds of YouTube rewarding it. In my opinion, if it's something where it's like, I don't get it. Like, I have an animation channel and my, my river dance videos aren't getting the same traction. It's like, they're different, those videos. That might require another channel. But if it's like PMVs, edits, ponies, animation, keep them together.
All right.
Until your audience might be like, we feel otherwise. And you're like, gotcha.
Well, guys, that was the How to YouTube panel. I want to thank you all for coming on out. As a reminder, at 5:15, we will have the Semi-Perfect Podcast panel.
It's like this panel.
Yeah, we're
better because Sarah's on the panel.
Sarah's gonna be on it.
And Laura's on the panel.
Laura's gonna be on it. So yeah, and that's just gonna be a free-for-all, all kinds of topics. You guys enjoy the rest of your Babscon.
We love seeing you all here. We hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for the support and the questions. You all are excellent. Love you all. Give me $10.